gonna do the second lesson with Storm here. I'm gonna send him off on the circle. It's really being lazy there, so I gotta get after him a bit. As I progress through the lessons, I'm gonna ask for more and more of him every day. So I've only lunged him a few times, not a whole lot. He's probably been doing the lunging for about 2 weeks, so right now he's got the idea. He knows the concept of going off, yielding his hindquarters, going forward when I ask him. So I'm just gonna start asking him for a bit more. Like there, he didn't really go all the way. I really want him to step underneath himself, straighten his body out, and look at me. Right there, like he doesn't want to go off, so I'm gonna increase my pressure until he goes off. Slide my hand down, step, swing my rope, perfect. Faces me, that was really good. I'm gonna let him stop and rest. He has a tendency to want to just not pay attention and go off lunging, so I really want to have him focused and waiting for my next command. So I'm just kind of slide my hand down the rope here just to sensitize him. So that first time I did it, he wanted to back up. Just keep doing it till he stops. So I'm just gonna wiggle the rope around, look around, and just kind of desensitize him a little bit. And I don't want him anticipating as much as he usually does and just going off without me asking. So I want him doing a nice round circle, slide my hand down, have him change directions to the inside. So I slide my hand down, point up the other way, he'll follow his nose. Once he starts moving his shoulder, I'll step towards his shoulder to push it out, and then he'll go off in a new direction. I'm going forward. There, that's good because he's checking in with me, he's paying attention, he's not just running around. So I don't want him to stop, but I don't want to punish him for it either. So now I've moved on from just yielding his hindquarters to having him do an inside turn as well. I want him to turn 3 different ways. I want him to yield his hindquarters. I want him to turn to the inside by just me sliding my hand down and pointing up in the new direction, him following that pressure on his rope. And then I want to step back like I do in the round pen and have him face me and then wait for directions to turn or stop or whatever. So I want him to do 3 different ways on the lunge line. So I'm going to practice all those different ways today. Step back, I want to draw him in before I use my rope. If he's not paying attention, like here, I'll have my rope help me out here. And then send him off. I step toward his hindquarters here. You always want to keep those feet behind his shoulders. If you get in front of his shoulders, he's going to want to stop or turn. I like to point my toes toward his hips, because it really bends him around on the circle and has his neck kind of bend around me. Slide my hand down, I'm gonna change directions. Perfect. I just slide down and hold. There, he's getting a little feisty, I'm just gonna bump on him. I just slide and hold and then wait for him. Once he starts moving those shoulders, I'm gonna walk toward the shoulders to encourage them to move over. So I'm just gonna walk a small circle, having my toes pointed toward his hind legs around there, his barrel. Same thing, very nice. I slide my hand down, help him out with my end of my rope, yield his hindquarters, and I'm gonna run up there and desensitize him. Very important to balance him out there. So he's flinching a little, I'm gonna keep going, then he stop flinching, I'll just rub him. I don't want him looking away, keep rubbing him until he blinks his eyes, and he's paying attention, his face is nice and straight. So I'm just desensitizing him here again. Just kind of wiggling my hands on the rope a little. He's anticipating backing up, so I'll just do it till he stops. Still backing up. There, I'll stop. Slide my hand down, pretend I'm gonna send him off. He's just anticipating too much, and we don't want that. So I'm gonna have him do the opposite, take a step up, and just let him hang out. So I do a lot of lunging. I'll yield him, desensitize him, and just let him hang out. And then when I ask him to go off, I want to ask really slowly. I really slide my hand up slow, but then I mean it. Like, when I want him to go off, I want him to go off quickly. But when he's anticipating going off, I don't want him to go off at all. So, there's a fine line there. And he has a tendency to want to swing his head around and not want to go forward. He's been getting away with that for a few years. That was a good hindquarter yield. Nice and straight. You can see from this angle how straight he is. desensitize, move my hands around. I don't want him to go anywhere. I'm just making sure he's not anticipating. He's standing better this time, so that's good. Send him off. See, I step slowly and then, or I slide my hand slowly and then I keep going. Like, he tossed his head there and I kept swinging my rope until he stopped doing that. So he's not getting away with the pressure while he's tossing his head. Very good. So my cues to speed up for the trot are just 2 kisses, or I say trot, and then for the canter, or 2 clucks, and then I say trot, and then for the canter, I kiss, and then I say canter. And you can use just the kisses or the clucks, or just the words. It doesn't really matter as long as you're consistent. See if he anticipates here. Doing better now. He's nice and focused on me. He's thinking about going. Be like, nope, just hang out here. Do the opposite of what he was thinking about doing. Try to synthesize him again. Pay attention to me. I just gently bump him, and then if he's still not looking toward me, I'm gonna bump on him really hard, get his attention. Just wanting to back up here while I slide my hand on the rope. Just keep doing it. Always balance him out. Do the opposite of what he's thinking. I want him to pay attention, but not anticipate. He's either paying way too much attention, like, oh, I want to go. I'm just gonna go. Or he's just looking off and not paying attention at all. I really need him in the middle, so I slowly slide my hand up, get after him there. So I still swung even though he was tossing his head around. I don't want to reward that behavior at all. And it's going to be harder with him because he's older and he has this ingrained habit, but I don't want to let him get away with it. That was very good. He got a little distracted there, so I took a step back, get his attention on me. Now he wants to go. Like, nope, I'm just gonna toss the rope. You're not gonna go anywhere. Desensitize him. So there's a few ways you can prevent him from anticipating and going off. You can run up and desensitize him, and then bump on him and desensitize him, but only bump on him once he's started to move, so he feels pressure for moving. I do both of those things. He's catching on. I think someone just threw him in the round pen and hope for the best, or just let him run around on the lunge line. There wasn't any concentrated training happening. So, up, swing. That was a good send off. Very nice. I want him to send off with energy, but only when I ask. That was better with his head. Slide down, step, those hindquarters. He crosses over, very nice. Run up there to sensitize him. He flinched, so I'm gonna keep going. And stop. Very good. I want him to not flinch and relax, and then I'll stop tossing my rope. So I do a lot of this just hanging out here in between. I do it more when I'm not filming it, to just let him calm down. Lazier horses need that. Like, he is a lazier horse, but when it comes to the lunging, he gets really anticipating about a lot of stuff. So I just stand here, look at my phone. I want to pay attention to him, but I want to give him that relaxed time. Like, he can chill and just calm down whenever he's standing there. Stopped moving my hand because he was not going anywhere. So test him again. Very nice. Swing the rope around, swing on the ground. There, he's doing a lot better with that. So I'm gonna have him go off. Very good. he stepped into my space there, so I'm having him go off the other way. There we go. When he yields his hindquarters, I really want his front feet to move very little and just the hindquarters pivot around his front feet, like right there. That first time, the last time he did it, he stepped his front feet into me and made the space between him and me smaller, so I just sent him off the other way. That moves his shoulders out of my space. That was better, so I'm gonna go in there to desensitize him. Tell him that he doesn't need to run off right away. Balance him back out. Oh, he's like, oh, I'm gonna go out. I'm like, nope, we're desensitizing you again. Do the opposite of what he's thinking about doing. Wait until he blinks his eyes and relaxes. Very good. Back out of my space. I changed it up a little bit. Sometimes I want him to back up out of my space. Sometimes I'll back up from him. Sometimes I won't at all. I'll just send him off. Just kind of depends. There he wanted to go off again, so I'm just desensitizing him on the other side. Very good. So again, this is just another thing that I do when I desensitize him to my stick or my rope or my whip or whatever. Some dust gets all on my saddle and on his back. So this is another desensitizing thing. I kind of smack on the saddle, get all the dust off, and he stands there for it. So it was really good. Put my rope a little bit. He's thinking about going. So I put pressure on him when he goes and does the wrong thing. The right thing is standing still where there's no pressure. The wrong thing, going off, there's a lot of pressure. Because it doesn't go away and I get my face bumped on. And then it goes away when I stand still. He'll need a few more lessons of this because he does want to go off so much, but he's being very responsive, he's making great inside turns, and he's yielding his hindquarters really well, so I'm really happy with that part. See, he was trying to look away, so I keep petting him, and I bump him straight, and then I stop petting. Lots of people will pet on their horse, the horse will look away, and they'll stop petting, and so then they'll always look away, they're always jerking their head away. You always want to keep your hand there until he moves his head back towards you. There, he's doing really great here. I'm throwing his rope all around. He's not moving at all. Perfect. Not paying attention. I'm gonna see if he'll come back to the lightest rope pressure, and he does. That's awesome. This is gonna be a great point to stop him right here because he wasn't anticipating it all. And that was the first time he really did that for a long amount of time in this lesson, so you always want to end him on a good spot. So he'll remember that for the next day. Just make sure he's not thinking about going anywhere. Go in there, desensitize him, tell him that he did a great job. Sensitize him more, get off all that sand, pat on that saddle, check my girth. Very good.